Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is the Narcissistic Resistance. This resistance video is sponsored by contribution from Angela, and this is Angela with her own YouTube channel, Acon. Dear Ollie, thank you for all that you've done for the narcissism community. As you know, I have written to you before about my narcissist family. Angela also sent in the video of her confronting her mother in the home. My mother is an ignoring covert narcissist who almost got my son, Patrick, shot in 2009. We are totally no contact, and that chapter of my life is over. Unfortunately, the next generation of narcissism has infected my oldest son. I got married to his deadbeat narc father back in 1983 because he had gotten me pregnant. I was 17 years old and he was 23 years old, and I had to drop out of high school and marry him because I was pregnant. Our son was born in 1984 and we named him Frankie after his father. 2 years later, I had a second son, Patrick, when I was 19 years old. My ex-husband could not hold down a job, and there were many problems, and so by age 21 years old, I filed for divorce. My ex was extremely spiteful with the divorce. The lawyer was going to only charge me $300 for the divorce, but it ultimately ended up costing me $1,500 to divorce him. That's just one example of what I had to go through with my ex-husband. Anyway, he was never there for the kids. I can't tell you how many times he made me promises that he would come pick them up and take them to an amusement park or wherever, and simply did not show up. He paid very little to nothing in child support, and to be quite honest, I didn't break his balls fighting him for it because he was extremely spiteful and felt the money was simply not worth the aggravation. As a result, it caused us to live in poverty as I was on welfare and putting myself through school. My children had to do without many material things that other children took for granted. My oldest son, Frankie, was extremely resentful of that, and naturally, according to his father, my golden child brother, and the rest of my narc family, the situation was my fault because I was miserable and wanted a divorce. You're not allowed to be happy. Don't you understand that? Don't you understand that? That's why it's just so dangerous. It's so dangerous. And you know from your job, Angela, and Angela's the one who works, when I say about legal things and I ask for Angela, this is the Angela. You know better than anyone what it's like going through a divorce. And I managed to make it through school. I got my GED and then studied law and business courses. And after I graduated, I got a job as a paralegal. I did the best I could with raising my children, but Frankie felt it was not good enough, and he became very bitter. My son Frankie always looked up to my golden child brother because he did well for himself financially, unlike me, the scapegoat, who, according to the golden child, is a brain-dead dingbat. My brother had always treated me as if I was stupid, incompetent, and inferior, and this negatively affected my son. Yeah, obviously, if he's calling you a brain-dead dingbat. My ex played the victim card because I divorced him and told both my children that I was nothing but a slut and other nasty things. Worse yet, my ex-husband's girlfriend would jeer at me during the custodial exchanges, calling me a fucking slut, whore, etc. This woman did not even know me personally, yet she is yelling out of the car during the custodial exchanges. I had to get the family court to put a stop to that horseshit during the custodial exchanges. I reached a point in my life that I simply could not emotionally handle it anymore and had a complete nervous breakdown, which required a week in a mental hospital and long-term outpatient care. Unfortunately, I was not emotionally available to parent my boys as well as I should have, but I did the best that I could. My oldest son simply cannot grasp that the reality that I was suffering with severe depression. Despite everything I did manage to survive and have a successful career as a paralegal, and I'm doing quite well with my career in the present day. Yeah, you are. My children grew up, but Frankie started showing serious signs that he himself is a narcissist. I have always ran to help both of my children wherever they needed help. Frankie is a plumber and is very bad with managing his money. He had a child with a woman and they broke up in 2016. That's a whole other story. My grandson is now 8 years old and I'm not allowed to see him because my son said to me that I would never see my grandson again. Over the years, I had always helped out financially when the kids needed help. In the past, I have paid several of Frankie's car loan payments because I co-signed for his first car. I also paid some of his student loan payments when he fell behind. I paid $1,500 to stop his baby mama's van from being repossessed. I did this because I lived with them in 2015 and was trying to help them out. I stayed out of their business as much as possible, but always felt myself dragged in the middle. She complained that I was very disrespectful to him. The only reason why I went to live with them was because they were struggling financially and wanted to help. They just did not get along, so she took my grandson and moved out. I also moved out because I felt like I was in the middle and I wanted a place of my own. I could not continue to keep paying their bills. And that's all you were, was their ATM machine, Angela. That's it. That's it. Who taught your son the meant to tear you down like this? Was your brother? Seems like it was your brother. My son never acknowledged or appreciated anything that I have done for him, and he acted like he was entitled to putting me out of all that money that I was paying because I was living there. I paid his gas and water bill, bought food, paid her van for being repossessed, bought them a vacuum cleaner, etc. Not good enough. As I said, I didn't need to live with them. I only went to stay with them because they were struggling financially and I was moving out of my apartment in 2015 after ending a relationship with my ex-boyfriend. So they break up and he meets this girl named Claire who had 3 children. My grandson Ryan got very attached to Claire's 3 kids. I warned Frankie that I did not think it was a good idea to get Ryan involved with her children unless he was going to step up to the plate and be serious with Claire and be a father to these kids. He told me that he was not ready for all that, but still continued to get seriously involved with Claire. I kept myself at a safe distance, but had a very bad feeling that this was going to end very badly. Well, disaster happened because last February 2018, I discovered that he was not paying his mortgage and the house was going into foreclosure. He was also lending Claire and her children into a false sense of security as he was never upfront with her about his intentions, nor did he tell anyone about his financial problems. In other words, he built that relationship on lies. Then I come to find out that he was sleeping with his baby mama behind Claire's back. That created more problems. My grandson, Ryan, and Claire's kids got hurt because they no longer see each other due to the disaster that my son created. Those kids were very attached to each other, and Claire's children saw Frankie as a father figure. Frankie just walked completely out of their lives. To this day, the kids ask Claire if he's coming back. I was angry that he got the kids involved and the children got hurt. I told him that I do not approve of all this lying and backstabbing and getting the kids in the middle of it. He told me to mind my own business until he wants money, until he comes back to the ATM machine. See, he did this knowing, Angela, knowing that you're a big sap sucker and that he's looking to come back for his next withdrawal. You're just his ATM machine. That's it. He has to borrow $4,000 from me to stop his house from being foreclosed yet again. Initially, I said yes, That is until he drove up in my apartment in a relatively new car he bought on credit. I was furious. I told him, damn you. You went out and bought a car on credit when you have a car that's older but still running. I told him, you have money to buy a car, then you have money to pay your mortgage. And I hung up the phone. He texted me demanding me to pick up the phone. I refused and shut my phone off because he was blowing up my phone. Claire and her kids were devastated when the reality hit them, and he still keeps trying to get a piece off her while he was moved in to yet another woman. After I refused to loan without paying back him the money, he raged at me like a goddamn lunatic. He told me that he hates my guts and that I was an old hag piece of shit, and he kept saying that over and over to me. Yeah, he's raging at the ATM machine. He's basically kicking the vending machine. He's kicking the vending machine. Hopefully it spits out what he wants. Don't be the vending machine. My grandson's mother is estranged and she won't allow me to see him either because she's mad at my son. I think that my son Frankie is a somatic narcissist. He has lied to so many women that they all hate him. He's a borderline, Angela. This is borderline rage. This is the rage of a borderline, especially generated at his mother. He's now seeing another girl, but still stalks Claire on social media. Now, this is a guy, unfortunately, Angela, who truly hates women. This is a guy who sees women as nothing but targets, because he hates them. Because he hates you, Angela. Now, how he got that hatred of you, okay, has a lot to do with your family, your brother, putting things in his head as a child, as he sees the uncle with money. He's growing up struggling, having to do without, and then your brother putting all these ideas in his head. Destroyed him. He's gone. He hates your guts. He sees you as nothing more than a vending machine, than the ATM. And this is him kicking the ATM, hoping it spits out what he wants. I keep pleading with her to block him and go no contact. You got to get out of it. Like, at this point, Angela, you got to be no contact with all of it. And unfortunately, I understand you have grandkids. He has kids. There's nothing you can do. You can't stop it. You know this better than anyone, Angela. You know this better than anyone, Angela. Look at your job, Angela. Look at what you're dealing with, Angela. You know this better than anyone. You can't get involved. You're not going to win on this. You can't save these kids. It doesn't matter because nobody's going to step in. It doesn't matter. You have to go no contact with all of it. And that's unfortunate, but you're going to have to do it. His ex-girlfriend, Claire, keeps hoping he will change, and I keep telling her that he's a very angry man and he will not change. Frankie cannot control his spending. He has a good job making a lot of money, and I don't understand why he can't pay his bills. I don't like the way he disrespects me. I am his mom, and the least he can talk to me like a decent human being. I never asked him, because he doesn't see you as a human being, Angela. You were dehumanized to him, in his eyes, a long time ago. You're an inanimate object. You're a money dispensing machine. You were dehumanized by your family a long time ago. He keeps calling me an old hag piece of shit. I don't like that because he's a male borderline. He sees your value, okay, in your looks, through your vagina, because he thinks like a woman, Angela. He's a male borderline. I would, even with all these women, I would question his sexuality. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. His impulse control, that's what the money thing is. It's all impulse control. It's all self-soothing. It's all now, me, self-serving. He's a male borderline. He doesn't see you as human. You're an inanimate object. The only thing I did was put my foot down. Right, the machine told him no. So he starts kicking the machine. He's a grown-ass man and needs to be responsible. Maybe he doesn't have any money because he keeps womanizing. He's a compulsive liar, and whenever I point out his bad behavior, he blames others. I don't like the fact that he has a relationship with my golden child brother either. Well, because who do you think? Again, there's the source. Your brother. Your fucking brother. My brother has also brainwashed him into believing that I'm hateful because I'm no contact. Frankie says to me, you pushed everyone out of your life, and I know that you came from him. And I know that came from him. Yeah. It's all coming from him. It's been coming from him. Because your brother dehumanized you in Frankie's eyes a long time ago. He thinks like a woman. He thinks that's how you value yourself. That's how he thinks you value yourself, through your vagina, Angela. That's why he keeps calling you an old hag, piece of shit. That's why. Give me your money because no man's going to want you. That's what he's going for. Like a woman. I explained to Claire that Frankie was raised by a nest of narcs, and that's why he turned out the way he did. I wanted to get your opinion because I'm desperately trying to show Claire that she must stop trying to help him when he dumps all his emotional baggage onto her. Yeah, it's just guilt. Yeah, but you can't get through to her. She's got to learn this lesson herself, Angela. Like, you can keep trying to show her all the evidence you want. If she don't want to believe it, she's never gonna believe it. He tells this woman that he's not happy with the new girlfriend and he keeps yanking her chain. So Claire and I would appreciate your take on this. I'm at the end of my rope and I'm completely fed up. So how do I deal with my adult son? Sincerely, Angela Acon. Listen, well, if she's actually all I'm going to tell you here, Claire, he's not going to change. And I will promise you this, and it might be, I would question his sexuality or what if he's doing things on the side. Because this is a male borderline. Borderlines are destructive. They're monsters. They don't change. They can't be changed. They'll tell you they're going to change. They're using you. They're lying to you. Angela, you are an inanimate object to him. He hates women. You've been dehumanized. All women in his mind are dehumanized because of your brother. That's the source on this one, is your brother, Angela, who your son still has a relationship with. So you got a lot going on with Frankie here. Frankie Fuckface, we'll call him. Frankie Fuckface will drag everybody down he can get his tentacles into. Frankie Fuckface hates himself. Okay? Frankie Fuckface sees you nothing more than an ATM machine, Angela. And when the ATM machine said insufficient funds or withdraw amount exceeds, he starts kicking the ATM machine, hoping it's going to give him what he wants. And to Claire, Frankie Fuckface is going to keep running around on you with anybody he can possibly can. It's a game. He don't care about you. He doesn't care about anybody but himself because he's a borderline. He's a monster. And the only way you deal with monsters like this is you cut them out of your life permanently, forever. So I hope that helps. Thank you, Angela, so much for your contribution and story. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comments section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, a narcissist you'd like to expose, you'd like to set up Skype, a phone call, have a private video made, or a Facebook live chat, or you'd like to sponsor a video like this for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or just make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it supported, growing, and successful, because this channel survives 100% on contributions from all of you guys. Without you, all of this goes away. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do with the PayPal and email links in the description box. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been the Narcissistic Resistance.